if we handle the complexities of Sharia law, which can get very tangled at times, then you can basically move your funds from a bank account that's giving you less than 1% on your savings and to one of our products, let's say Liquidity Harvester, which is aiming to generate 5 to 15% wealth on your assets, deposit assets. Then why would you not come? If we can allow you to invest and put into a savings account with minimal risk and give you a good return, and you know it's Sharia compliant, even if you're not strict Muslim, even if you're not a practicing Muslim, you'll essentially come.
It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I've got Dennis Dalkilik with me from Marhaba DeFi. And this is an interesting one and really piqued my interest because Dennis may not know this, but I am in the country's largest Muslim population here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm in Detroit, Michigan, and we have the biggest Muslim population in the country. I know you're overseas. You're in Australia, right, Dennis?
No, I'm actually in London.
You're in London.
Headquarters, so where we incorporated is Australia.
Okay, got you. So you're in London. All right, cool. But it really piqued my interest because I've never at this point seen a DeFi platform like attack this problem in this manner. So I thought it would be great for us to have a conversation, Dennis. And we'll go get into the nitty gritty about it here in a second. But before we get started, I do want you guys to go over to marhabadefi.com and check it out. I mean, they've done a great job on the branding and marketing. It looks excellent, looks very professional. They have a lot of money backing them already. They just want to get the word out. And Dennis, tell us about yourself before we really get into the platform.
Sure. So I've been a software engineer for about 11 years now. Of that last 5 years, I've been within the cryptocurrency space or blockchain space. I co-founded a couple of companies. I'm working on a couple of active projects right now, Marhaba being one of them. So I started initially with sort of more generic business side of things, so business development, then moved into project management to get a bit of exposure and experience on that side. While doing that, I worked at different levels of companies, from startups to large corporates like Thomson Reuters and London Metropolitan Police, etc. Then I came across Ethereum, I think it was 2016 or 2015, while I was working for Thomson Reuters trying to prototype a financial data private blockchain through Hyperledger. And since basically that day, blockchain has piqued my interest, and I've just sort of transitioned into blockchain, and I plan to stay here for the long term now because it's just very interesting and it's growing rapidly.
It sure is. And that's an interesting background about yourself. So let me ask you this about the whole crypto scene. Did you enter cryptos through Ethereum first, or did you find Bitcoin first, or how did your experience and foray into Bitcoin or crypto happen?
Yes. So my first ever cryptocurrency purchase was actually Ethereum. And
interesting.
Yeah. So I actually, even though I studied computer science, somehow I completely missed the Bitcoin side of things in 2015, 2014.
A lot of people did, though. Yeah,
I know. But then I came across Ethereum, and I once I saw Ethereum and what it was trying to build, I instantly got hooked onto it. And I started investing on a monthly basis, sort of trying to dollar cost average the whole thing out and make sure I have enough for the future. Right. Even though I bought, I still feel like I never have enough. That's just the nature of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
But yeah, that was my first theory. Right? Exactly.
Eyes never satisfies, seems like. So that's great, man. What brought you to Marhaba as far as this idea? Kind of give us the lead up to this new awesome DeFi platform.
Sure. So Marhaba has been in the idea phase and sort of development phase well before I joined. So I joined Marhaba about 5 or 6 months ago. And before that, about 7 months before that, or 8 months, our CEO Nakib and a couple of his earlier teammates, I actually conceptualized the whole product and what it was supposed to be. And I came across it a bit later while I was looking for a solution that I needed at the time. So my requirement at the time was that as a Muslim, you're supposed to pay zakat if you can afford it, which is basically a charity given on a yearly basis. So while I was trying to look for an option to pay my charity, mandatory charity giving, I I wanted to do it in cryptocurrency. I didn't want to do it in fiat, and there was just zero solutions out there. So I was just Googling around, seeing if there are any crypto solutions that can allow me to pay in cryptocurrency. Then I came across an article about Marhaba DeFi and what it was trying to build. And it immediately piqued my interest. So I went into the Telegram group. We had a chat, asking if I can make a donation, etc. And then the conversation sort of escalated from there. We had several calls with Nakib and his teammates at the time. And we had some sort of interview process. And I saw the vision in what the company was trying to build. And because there isn't another project out there that's trying to achieve the same things and provide the same set of solutions, I was like, I need to take part in this. So I immediately got hooked on, and it sort of escalated from there. And since for the past 5 months, I've been working as a CTO and sort of designing the architecture behind the framework and building the code base out.
Yeah. As I stated at the beginning, guys, Crypto Blood is in Detroit, Michigan, which is literally down the street from Dearborn, Michigan, the largest Muslim population here in the States. And would you explain to people, because a lot of my audience currently, they're most likely not Muslim.
Yeah.
They're most likely white American males. And it's interesting because, like, I see what you're trying to do with the Muslim community. I'm trying to do in the black and urban community. I don't want them to be left behind.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to spread the word about cryptocurrencies, more importantly, blockchain, because I think that's even bigger and encompasses a whole bunch more. But you're trying to not leave the Muslim community, faith-based community, behind because of the way you guys deal with Sharia law and all of that. Can you explain that to the audience so they understand the Sharia law and non-Sharia stuff? Yep.
Yeah, so what we're essentially trying to do is, as you say, so first of all, Marhaba is ticking the boxes in terms of Sharia law and trying to bring the Muslim community in, but it's not an exclusive platform. It's an inclusive platform that's trying to bring everyone onto crypto, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, as long as sort of ethical trading and ethics is sort of a top of your list in terms of priorities, rather than sort of interest-based generation of wealth. So regardless of you're Muslim or not, we want to onboard people who believe in an ethical financial system and a sort of decentralized financial system. But when it comes to the actual Sharia side of things, we're essentially hitting a market that has 1 billion people in terms of global scale. And obviously the Muslim population is over 1 billion, but we're assuming that of that 1.3, 1.4 billion, only about a billion are adults or sort of at the age that they can invest. So we're aiming for that market, and we're trying to bring in those people who may be in crypto or who might be looking to enter crypto, but because of certain complexities, whether that's the complexities of Sharia law, whether that's the complexities of cryptocurrency and just general UI UX, we want to sort of remove those barriers and have people come into the cryptocurrency space so they too can make a return on this ever-growing space and not left behind, just like you mentioned, because the cryptocurrency space is growing. And the whole idea of cryptocurrencies in general was that regardless of your geographical location or whereabouts you are, or your socioeconomic status, you should be able to use this technology, and you should be able to leverage what this decentralization offers us without having to sort of go through middlemen. So we're pitching this idea to everyone that is interested, and we're trying to show them that there is this something called DeFi, and if we handle the complexities of Sharia law, which can get very tangled at times, then you can basically move your funds from a bank account that's giving you less than 1% on your savings and to one of our products, let's say Liquidity Harvester, which is aiming to generate 5 to 15% wealth on your deposit assets. Then why would you not come? If we can allow you to invest and put into a savings account with minimal risk and give you a good return, and it's Sharia compliant, even if you're not strict Muslim, even if you're not a practicing Muslim, you would essentially come, because it's a better return, more than 1% that your traditional banks give you, and on top it's a Sharia compliant way, so you don't have any sort of sort of lingering thoughts whether you're doing the right thing or not in terms of your sensitivity as when it comes to Sharia law. So that's the aim. But to sort of expand on the idea, Sharia law is quite complex. Sharia is basically direct translation would be Islamic law. I'm not a Sharia expert, but based on our conversations and my understandings, Sharia law essentially dictates what you can trade, what sort of trades you could do, what sort of wealth generation you could do, and is it permissible? And these questions sound simple, but when you actually look into Sharia law itself, it's quite complex. And then this is in general just traditional fiat currency. It's quite complex. But when cryptocurrency is added on top of that, it becomes even more complex because cryptocurrency is a very new ecosystem and industry, and you can't really tell if a token is Sharia compliant, if it's not, and you have to do a lot of digging and reading and a lot of white paper research, etc., etc. What we do is we take all that burden away from you, and we give you a list of tokens, and we give you a list of ways to generate wealth using cryptocurrencies, and say, use this. It's Sharia compliant. It's approved by our Sharia board according to X, Y, Z reasons, and just sort of make the most out of cryptocurrencies and this DeFi space as it grows. So should your wealth. So that's the idea behind the entire product.
Yeah, I like the point I saw somewhere on your website. It made the comment Muslim also.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Not Muslim
exactly.
only, and I like that. So I hear you guys are dealing with a Islamic financial institution right now. Is there anything you could give us regarding those dealings? You're trying to become regulated with them, or tell us a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
about that.
correct. So what we want to do is essentially build a bridge between decentralized finance and traditional finance. And we know and we feel that DeFi is changing. So regulatory will be coming in, and you have to do KYC, AML, and all the big boys, including Avi, Compound, all these guys, they would have to sort of onboard the KYC and AML side of things if they want to sort of grow and expand beyond the crypto space, so they could onboard more institutional clients. So what we're doing is, to actually do this KYC AML process, it's very expensive. It's not a cheap process in terms of hiring legal solicitors or lawyers and going through the processes, paying certain regulatory institutions to make sure everything checks out. It's a very expensive process. So what we're doing, we are teaming up with already existing traditional companies, institutions. So we have a potential partner in Middle East that we have recently partnered with. They have a Nasdaq-based company that they recently purchased, and they will act as a shield against regulatory requirements. And any institutions that want to come through to Marhaba, whether it's in Middle East region, North Africa, Africa in general, or any of the jurisdictions that they're able to interact with, then they can go through them and then still invest in cryptocurrencies and DeFi through us. But we ourselves as Marhaba don't have to take on the burden and pay for the cost of doing KYC and all, because we know customers that come through these institutions are for sure KYC'd. So that's the plan we have, and we have that going in the MENA region. But we are also trying to hook up partners in North America and Europe. It's too early to name any names, although we do have a signed agreement with the Middle Eastern company, the traditional finance company. But to be honest, I'm not 100% sure if I should name them or if I should give more details.
No, that's
but
fine.
The general size of the company is that they are quite a big leader in that space within that region. So we've been in heavy development for about 5 months now. Our first product, so we have 8 products within this ecosystem. So each of these 8 products actually can raise funds enough to justify itself as a single standalone application. For example, we have a non-custodial mobile wallet, which is due to be released in December.
Is that what we see on the screen, the Sahal?
Yes, Sahal wallet, exactly. So Sahal wallet is essentially going to be serving as a non-custodial wallet, and then it would eventually serve as a portal to the entire ecosystem that we're building. So any sort of product lining that we offer, you can actually do it through this wallet without ever having to leave it. So the first version will have a simple sort of token list and buy and receive and exchange tokens. but the tokens that you could buy and sell on this wallet will be only the Sharia compliant token. So this relates back to our Sharia compliance side of things. We have a Sharia API, which basically allows us to query certain tokens, and if they are Sharia compliant according to our board, then we'll allow our users to display this token display and store this token on their wallet and interact with it. So that's the first product that's coming out in the first week of December. And then the second product is Souk NFT, which is an NFT marketplace, but again, it's Sharia compliant. It's Sharia compliant in the sense that we want to screen what sort of art and NFTs are generated on there. So we have this AI model that basically searches for adult content, hate speech, racism, all that stuff. That's obviously non-Sharia compliant, and it would reject any NFT that sort of doesn't get the right score.
Are you guys leveraging the like GTP2
yes
OpenAI stuff?
Yeah. So we have a model that's working with OpenAI. Obviously, as time goes on, this algorithm gets better and it recognizes images better and better over time. But in the meantime, as the algorithm starts learning more and more, we will have some sort of manual intervention if the algorithm misses anything, and then sort of feed it back to the algorithm so it's better next time. But it's not just sort of adult content. As I say, it's any sort of hate speech or racism or any sort of negative connotation artwork will not be allowed to be listed on there. That's the product. Essentially, the initial version will be on BSC, the Binance Smart Chain. The reason we chose Binance Smart Chain is, I guess, it's quite obvious. It's the transaction fees and the speed of things.
Right.
But in the future, so the next iteration, which will be about Q2 of next year, it would actually be multi-chain. So we will be supporting all EVM-based chains initially, and then we want to expand that to Algorand as well, as we have close ties with Algorand in terms of business, and our CEO is closely linked with Algorand as well. So yeah, and then we have a bunch of features within that. So the NSFW is one of them, but we actually have another API that checks for uniqueness, which is a big deal in NFT marketplaces. So for example, if I see your NFT on OpenSea today and I like it, there's nothing that could stop me to just sort of rip that off and then mint it on BSC and then claim it's mine. To stop that, we have this unique API check where we continuously parse every NFT that is ever minted across all marketplaces, and we hash these based on sort of standard hashing mechanism, and we cross-reference whenever we get an NFT that's trying to be uploaded. If it meets a certain threshold of similarity, then we will stop that NFT from being minted because it's potentially a copy. So that's the second product. And then the third product in the ecosystem is our killer product, in my opinion. It's the liquidity harvest. This is what I was referring to in my earlier comment about returns of 5 to 15%. So essentially, liquidity harvest, as the name suggests, it's about liquidity mining. So Sharia, in terms of Sharia compliance, liquidity mining is Sharia compliant because you do have a sort of contract between yourself as the end user and the platform that's taking your funds, which is called Marhaba. And there is a risk associated with it. So your money is not just sitting in a contract and then accumulating interest, because your money is actually being traded actively and you're collecting fees on top of it. So due to that reason, we're able to generate wealth from liquidity mining. And this product is looking to generate 5 to 15% in version 1 through stablecoins. We do this by essentially building a whole suite of application where the application continuously pings different chains and different protocols and different underlying pools that support certain stablecoins that we deem to be Sharia compliant, which is USDT, USDC, and BUSD. So as long as you have one of these assets and you want to start earning some money from them, you would come to our liquidity harvester. Our liquidity harvester will ping all the chains that we support, which is going to be all the EVM-based chains, and we're going to support anything else that sort of comes up with good enough liquidity for us to interact with. Initially, it'll be Ethereum, Polygon, Binance, Avalanche, Polkadot when it's live. I think, and Arbitrum, and yeah. So within these chains, we will go ahead and find all these dexes and all these DeFi applications that actually offer liquidity mining, and we will do some sort of analysis to say, okay, you could move your funds to this chain and onto this pool, and then onto this underlying liquidity pool, and generate this much wealth as percentage. And we will actively scan these chains and actively scan these protocols and keep offering the best option for our end user. So our end user comes back every 24 hours and says, okay, the percentage has dropped on the pool that I'm currently in, but there is another pool that's generating better returns. So I'll just switch to that with a click of a button. By doing this continuously, you are able to generate at least 5 to 15%, but we envision this to be well above 15% in the future once we become fully autonomous in terms of moving funds on the user's behalf and becoming custodial. And if you compare this, because it's halal and it's sort of like a savings account that your bank would offer. If you compare it to traditional finance, where they offer usually less than 1% returns on your funds, it's just a no-brainer that you come on board and you start generating wealth on your crypto assets.
Guys, definitely check out this new platform. The first product launching in December 2nd. So depending on when you see this video, may be out, may not be, but December 2nd,
yeah.
Definitely look out for it. Any last things, Dennis? I mean, this is again a great step in the right direction for the Muslim community. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to definitely continue to bring updates about this platform as you guys roll out more.
Just to give a bit more outlook on the potential of the project in general, the Islamic liquidity, which is Islamic finance in traditional space, is worth $3 trillion today, as of 2021. But of that $3 trillion, $0 of it is in DeFi and cryptocurrency space because of its complexity. And as you can see, there's huge demand, but there is a huge gap in the market. And we're trying to fill this niche and this gap in the market. And if we get even 1% of that $3 trillion, it's a huge amount of money.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's a huge amount of money. And if we can get that as a TVO, you can see the potential of Marhaba.
Well, again, I'll make sure I do some updates on this. You guys will probably see some 30-second drops at the beginning of some of my videos talking about this project as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, man, I'm excited. Where can they find you on social media?
I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't know how should I drop my links because my name is spelled a bit weird on Twitter, etc. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Telegram. You can find me in any of those. So yeah, just hit me up. Let's connect. Let's chat if you're interested. I'm sure I could pique interest.
All right, sounds good, Dennis. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and definitely check out MRHBDeFi.com for more details, and they will be launching their first product December 2nd. So check it out. It's your boy Crypto
Thanks.
Blood. Make sure you guys, again, like, share, and subscribe, and that's another Kick in the Session. We out of here. Holla!